A very good afternoon, Team Zimbabwe, and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. My name is Ronald Wekwamakusha. Zimbabwe is facing a huge problem. 9 million people now facing hunger, and it has been confirmed. So they've increased their food aid appeal to 3.3 billion United States dollars. Just remember that Zimbabwe is one of the countries which owns its own land. But is this land in the hands of capable people? I doubt it. It was taken away from the hands of the white people. It was given into the hands of black people. But it was given into the hands of just a few black people. So here's the report from newzimbabwe.com. They say Zimbabwe on Monday launched an appeal for 3.3 billion United States dollars to feed an estimated of 9 million people who require food aid until March 2025. So there is hunger in Zimbabwe, and this is a problem which we need to face as a people right now and find solutions. I doubt that the leaders in Zimbabwe are going to find a solution to this madness. Initially, the figure of food insecure people stood at 7.7 million in both urban and rural areas, and aid required 2.2 billion. But Minister of Local Government and local government and what Mnangagwa then reviewed that the numbers had increased, and the number has moved from 7.7 million people to 9 million people. Zimbabwe is grappling with El Nino-induced drought, which has since been declared a national disaster by President Emerson Mnangagwa. So the government launched a US $429 million flash appeal with the United Nations to cater for the close to 3.1 million people. Only 3.1 million people in this batch, the first batch, with 429.3 million. And the preliminary indications are that an estimated number of 9 billion people will be food insecure and require food assistance until March 2025. The halabalu yekuti matura akazara, we do not know what happened to matura acho, because it seems as if they have nothing in those reserves. And it seems as if GMB is failing the people of Zimbabwe. They failed to pay farmers. They're failing to reserve food. And we do not know the reason why they collect our maize if they can't pay the farmers money, if they cannot reserve food for the people. So this appeal provides all sector requirements that the local government and partners ought to prioritize. In response to the El Nino drought, the government has prioritized the following intervention strategies, among others. The humanitarian appeal focuses on immediate needs, recovery, and resilience building and of the affected populace. This is what Garwe said. So instead of using the dams which we have in Zimbabwe for irrigation, they are actually launching some appeals. I'm hurt because ZANU-PF donated 3 million United States dollars to ANC for this coming election. And in the nation of Zimbabwe, people continue to die of hunger. There is nothing moving, and people remain stagnant. I can tell you that the Chokwemkosi Dam, the whole of last year, I think for the past 5 years, the Chokwemkosi Dam has been to nearly full capacity, even in the summer. And that water body is underutilized. I can tell you the same happens to Lake Mtirikwi. These two water bodies in the Masvingo province are underutilized, and the Zimbabweans are actually suffering day in, day out. So what can the government do to avert this situation? We need to make sure that we have enough irrigated areas. And the government need to find partners who are going to say, let us create pipelines. For example, I can tell you the areas of Mwenezi, the soils are good, but the area is very, very, very dry and very hot. So what the government can do is they can find partners to help them put waterways, ma canal or ma pipes so that they bring water close to the people. Just imagine if my 4 hectares was fully utilized during this season. Yatiri Inoi. That is we have something. We have planted something. I can tell you in Mwenezi, you can even have winter plow and have maize in this season at Tori. Kuchitotonora, in Mwenezi you can actually grow maize. Ukatoibvisa ukatokoa. So it was going to avert the crisis in some other parts. You know, you cannot deal with the whole area or the whole country in terms of irrigation, but you can limit the effects of this drought. So 9 million people out of 16 million people, it means half of the population of Zimbabwe. These are people who are living in Zimbabwe. They are actually directly affected by El Nino drought and they are facing hunger. So this is a problem. And we need a government which is going to prioritize dealing with this matter. In a country where people are facing severe hunger, and you see leaders donating cars to individuals, you don't do that when you're facing a crisis. We need leaders who are proactive, leaders who think ahead. We were talking a few days ago about the Burkina Faso president. He donated 400 tractors to local farmers, young farmers. 400 tractors, 400 farmers directly benefited each, which means if they are to share, for example, if we are to say 5 farmers per tractor, young farmers, it means you double up the number of beneficiaries for that project. Just imagine, he donated or he purchased 700, more than 700 motorcycles for Madumeni, Eku Burkina Faso. Just imagine, Team Zimbabwe, if we had a government which was prioritizing farming like that. So Zimbabwe can do everything. We can produce grain. We can produce meat for the whole country. We don't need to import meat. We don't need to import eggs. We do not need to import milk. But Zimbabwe is importing. Why? It's because the leaders which we have do not care. They are not prioritizing the people. So this is the news update, Team Zimbabwe, which we have this afternoon. NewsZimbabwe.com reports that 9.9 million people are facing hunger. And Zimbabwe has started an appeal of around 3.3 billion to avert a crisis this 2024 to 2025 season. So we do not know if 2024 to 2025 season is also going to give us enough rain for the people to know. If we miss it again, then you have to know that we will be in for trouble for a very long time. We have been talking about these issues. We wrote proposals and, as usual, this government does not take anything from anybody. They think they know everything. But we were talking about this issue of having citizens managing to sustain them in terms of grain for at least 3 to 5 years. That must be a plan. So when people ask, what is the plan of Nelson Chamisa? Under the government of Nelson Chamisa, the plan is to have citizens have reserves in terms of grain for 3 to 5 years, which means you know for sure that you have 3 years ahead, which means if you are hit with a drought this year, you can prepare because you still have 3 years ahead of you. So that is being proactive. But this government, it doesn't care. The reason of GMB, we do not know if not to make money and to milk local farmers. So this is what is happening. Let us meet in other episodes and other podcasts.